and gentlemen, masks are required here at Adams Field. First pitch is coming up. Please enjoy the game.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Adams Field in Quincy for the Massachusetts Independent Baseball League Final Four tournament. And the Ashland 7's today are taking on Medfield. Ashland 18-2 overall on the season. It has been just an incredible year for this Ashland 7's group. Medfield is 19-3, and we are just about ready to go here from Adams Field in Quincy. Tom Nappy on the call, Connor Donovan on camera. Ashland is the home team as they are the 1 seed here in the Final Four. Let's take a look at the Ashland 7's diamond. Getting the nod tonight is Owen Radcliffe. He'll be making the start. Jackson Hornung is behind the plate. Dom Cavanaugh at first base. Tyler Dossis at second base. Dante D'Avanzo, the shortstop. Mason Dushney, the third baseman. From left to right, it's Kevin Ballowitz, Sam Farrell, and Nick Calabrese. As for Medfield, we'll take you through their lineup. Leading things off will be the third baseman, Nick Sheehan. Max Goodman, the second baseman, batting second. Dennis Fullen, the DH, hitting third. Ben Leonard, the left fielder, hitting cleanup. Sam Palmer, the center fielder, hitting fifth. Jack McDonald, the first baseman, hitting sixth. Jack Goodman, the shortstop, hitting seventh. Ryan Murray, the right fielder, hitting eighth. And Mike Giglio, the catcher, hitting ninth. And the pitcher for Medfield is Ryan Donahue. It is a nice evening for some Massachusetts Independent League baseball, and you can't ask for any better weather than this for a playoff game. A little bit humid, but it is certainly less humid than it was earlier this afternoon. The temperatures are reading about in the high 70s here in Quincy as we are just about ready for baseball here tonight. The Ashland 7's yesterday won their first game of the Final Four tournament as they took down Quincy by a final of 4-1. An impressive win by the Ashland 7's last night. Dom Cavanaugh was on the mound, and he was just sensational as he was able to pitch his way through a very tough Quincy lineup. He went all 7 innings, giving up just 6 hits, 1 run, while striking out 7. It was tied at 1 heading to the bottom of the 5th when Dom Cavanaugh stepped up to the plate and helped his own cause. A 2 RBI single that was able to score Farrell and Hornung made it a 3-1 game, and then Dossis drove in Cavanaugh to make it a 4-1 game, and that would be your final. So the winner of tonight's game will have the 8 p.m. game tomorrow and a chance to clinch the Massachusetts Independent Baseball League title, and it will be one of these teams that will be in that 8 o'clock game tomorrow. The loser of this game will play at 5 o'clock, and they will be playing against Quincy, who tonight was able to take down Braintree in extra innings, 11-7. That game went 9 innings. So Quincy staying alive in the tournament. And this is their home field, Adams Field, here on Veterans Drive in Quincy. A beautiful facility here in the wonderful Quincy, Massachusetts. As Owen Radcliffe warming up, and he is just about set to go. He has been sensational on the mound all season long for the 7's. And they did take his stats down due to possible scouting, but we can tell you that his ERA is well below a 2.00, and he has been tremendous all season long. He is 4-0 on the mound for the 7's. Ashland has met up with Medfield earlier this season, and that was their final regular season game in Medfield. Ashland defeated Medfield in that game at 7-5, and we were at that game, so you should be seeing the broadcast soon on either HCAM in Hopkinton, WACA TV in Ashland, or HCAT in Holliston. Your crosstown network's the home of Ashland 7's baseball this summer. Of course, they are typically Ashland Legion, but with the Legion season being canceled, we're playing some independent ball. So here tonight, it's the Medfield River Rats and the Ashland 7's. And we are ready to go as Nick Sheehan steps in for Medfield, the third baseman. A good crowd on hand here tonight as Owen Radcliffe set to deliver the first pitch of the game. The windup and the pitch. Little inside there, 1-0. Medfield, of course, in their away white jerseys with the black numbering and lettering. The Ashland 7's in their blue jerseys with the red on the sleeves, the red stripe down the middle with the white Ashland across the front. And the nice numbers and the names on the back as that was fouled away, 1-1. Sheehan had a good day against Ashland during the season. He went 3 for 3 in that game. And he is certainly a threat in that leadoff spot. Swing and a miss, 1-2. It was Tyler Dossis who started against Ashland during the season. He went 6 innings, only giving up 2 earned runs as this is fouled off. Look out on the street. Count remains 1-2. And there is strike 3, 1 away. That'll bring up Max Goodman, the second baseman. The lefty steps in with 1 out for Medfield. Wind up and the pitch. Little high, 1-0. Radcliffe set to deal, the leg lift and the pitch. This is fouled away, 1-1. Now these Medfield hitters aren't afraid to swing the bat. And they have produced some good offensive performance this season, but they'll certainly have their work cut out for them against Radcliffe. Little outside, 2-1. Goodman went 1 for 3 in the game against Ashland during the season. Wind up and the pitch. He also scored a run in that game. There's a strike, 2-2. Dante Diavanzo had a lot of AAU commitments, but he is at shortstop for the 7's and should be here the remainder of the tournament. This is his third game in action as that pitch is outside. Full count now on Goodman. Radcliffe likes to try to work the corners. Wind up and the pitch. A little high, says the home plate umpire. A 1-out walk. That'll bring up Dennis Fullen, the DH. Dennis Fullen went 0 for 2 in the only game these two teams met up. Radcliffe looks at first and is set to deal. Up high. Well, sometimes it takes Radcliffe a little time to settle down. You'll notice in the early innings he could be a little wild, then as the game goes on he just gets more and more right on the money. As this is hit in the air, right side, and it is caught for the out by Calabrese, and a good throw in to keep Goodman at first. 2 away, that'll bring up Ben Leonard, the cleanup man and left fielder. Ben Leonard, a good athlete for Medfield. Also has participated in a number of AAU programs, and from what I understand will be playing at a good school next year as this pitch is up high. 1-0 is the count. Ratcliffe from the stretch with a runner on first. And this is up the middle. Glove by the shortstop. He'll flip to second for the force out, and that'll do it. For the top of the first to the bottom of the inning we go. The Ashland 7's coming up to bat on HCAM in Hopkinton, WACA TV in Ashland, and HCAT in Holliston. And as you could tell if you're watching the live stream, the lights have gone out here at Adams Field, and typically it takes a while to get them back on. I think they had the timer set a little earlier than intended, so they will wait for the lights to come back on. It should take about 10 to 15 minutes, hopefully less time than that, but that's typically what it takes to get the lights back on. But for now, we are in the dark here at Adams Field in Quincy. We are set for the bottom of the first. It is a scoreless game with the Ashland 7's coming up to bat. So for now, just enjoy the darkness of Adams Field in Quincy. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Again, we have blackout conditions here at Adams Field in Quincy. Currently awaiting the lights to come back on. We're heading to the bottom of the first. It is a scoreless game between Medfield and Ashland, and we're hoping the lights will be back on soon. The scoreboard just went out. Looks like they're turning that back on, so that's a good sign. So bear with us, folks. The Ashland 7's trying to advance. If they win tonight, they'll play tomorrow night at 8 p.m. as long as the lights don't go out. If Medfield wins, they'll have the 8 p.m. game. The loser of this game will have the 5 o'clock game, an elimination game. And the loser of this game could also perhaps play a doubleheader tomorrow if they lose tonight, win the 5 o'clock game. They'll have to play at 8 o'clock at night in game 2 if they want a chance to get to the championship round. Of course, if the winner of this game wins the 8 o'clock game tomorrow night, that'll be it. They'll be the Massachusetts Independent Baseball League champion. So we're awaiting the lights to come back on, heading to the bottom of the first. Stick around, folks, and enjoy the darkness here at Adams Field in Quincy. They might, which would really bum me out. Really bad. I would not be happy. It's kind of unacceptable. It's like, there must be a timer for this. Why didn't you set it for 11 o'clock, 10:30? Why is it set for like, I don't know, whatever time they went off? Maybe it was just a fluke thing. Maybe it was some kind of surge or something. I haven't been to the Ashland high school press box. If the lights went out, we were filming a game, a football game, the lights went out at Ashland, I'd be going to press. Yeah, you figured there'd be some kind of facilities manager. Right.
Oh, he's a year old. He's just like straight everything. Like, oh, it's like Marlon.
I feel like we're about to watch like a music concert or something. Like an act's coming out.
He's amazing.
Aerosmith, like Steve Tyler. Oh, here we go.
Oh, and like Nicole, like the people down the street.
That's not good. That's not comfortable. I wonder if they're having issues. Were they overheat?
Literally 2 weeks after they gave birth, she started giving birth. They brought her to the vet, and she had like 10 puppies.
All right, let's spike up Jake and find out what's going on.
What's about? Exactly. Well, that's what it is. It's like everyone's just sitting at home. Yeah, we're good.
That was encouraging, though, that they started to come back on and didn't. That's not good. That makes me think maybe there's some kind of technical issues. Let's get National Grid in here. to this thing. We're waiting the lights to come back on. See the electric guy. Get a close up. He has to climb the pole. Gotta replace all the bulbs. It's gonna take a couple hours. They did. That was a great win.
Progress.
Oh,
Big
it's
progress.
gotta go back on. We have to have someone pedal a bike to power them up. Well, it looks like a few of the lights are starting to come back on. They are an older set of lights. We got a few bulbs on, but certainly not enough to play baseball.
I'm telling you, I could hit owner I put right now.
Well, we'll keep the live stream company while the lights come back on. The Boston Bruins getting a nice win today. Double overtime win against Carolina to win Game 1 in their playoff series. That game started at 11 a.m. after last night's 5 overtime game between Tampa Bay and who was it? I forget. I'm having a total mind blank. Well, it was Tampa Bay.
I don't watch hockey.
So, Connor, the Celtics gave Brad Stevens an extension today. How do you feel about that?
I think Brad Stevens is one of the best coaches in the NBA right now. He's incredibly underrated, and him not really getting a mention in Coach of the Year is kind of disconcerting. I think he's a little bit underrated, but, you know, all the credit in the world to Nick Nurse and Billy Donovan and Mike Budenholzer, too, though. Four of them are great coaches.
Any relation to Billy Donovan?
I do not. No, I wish, because then I wouldn't be here.
Well, I am happy to see Brad Stevens will be sticking around for a few more years. And we do have a little shine on the field. But, yeah, I have enjoyed Brad Stevens as the Celtics coach, and I enjoyed him a lot at Butler as well. I think he'll be great for this young Celtics team.
I agree, and it's nice to see Gordon Hayward, guy that did play on Butler with Brad Stevens. He's getting back into his groove a little bit. He's looking like Utah Hayward. And, of course, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown killing it. Kemba Walker needs to get his knee ready to go for the playoffs. But other than that, I think people are underrating the Celtics. I think they got if they can get through the Bucks, I think they got a good shot at winning the whole thing.
I have to agree, and they seem to be getting hot again, which is what you want to see heading into the series.
Yeah, I mean, the win over the Raptors, it was a blowout. It was like at times it was like almost a 40-point lead over the number 2 seed, you know?
And that's a good Raptors team, too. So I think they're getting hot just to the nick of time. And Steve Watson sent us in some breaking news. The Islanders rallied back to beat Washington. Washington was up 2-0 at one point in that game. The Islanders came back to win Game 1 of that series. And the Islanders, of course, they were one of the teams that normally wouldn't have gotten into the playoffs, but they got in through that play-in round that the NHL hosted with the COVID playoff rules. And that's the exciting thing about the Stanley Cup playoffs. You just never know what's going to happen. Anybody could beat anybody on any given day.
They're doing a play-in too, NHL?
They did, yep.
Because the NBA play-in is going to be spicy. I'm hoping for the Suns to get in.
They very well could. Yeah, in the NHL, it was the top 4 teams. They're automatically in, but they played a round robin to determine seeding. And then the rest of the teams, they had a play-in round, and there was a few surprises. And it was certainly fun to watch. We got a few more lights on, so it looks like we'll have some baseball soon. Again, we are heading to the bottom of the first. Ashland 7's coming up to bat. They are the home team since they are the 1 seed. And we are scoreless between Ashland and Medfield, and we should have baseball momentarily as it's looking more and more bright out there. A little lights out discussion.
Podcast audio.
This has been Lights Out Sports Talk with Tom Nappy and Connor Donovan.
Trademark it now.
Now we're talking.
Right. Let's hope they stay on. I'll just say let's. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's on that team too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, that's my son.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he's typically with these guys.
First year he played with me was his friend St. Barrett.
Ah, okay.
Ended up, I think Marble wasn't going to have a team. So he jumped over here, and then Marble had a team, so we had the double roster.
Oh, that works. Yeah. You can start recording. Well, we are just about ready for the bottom of the first. The lights are back on here at Adams Field in Quincy. So let's take you through the Ashland 7's lineup, who this evening will be facing Ryan Donahue for Medfield. The Ashland 7's lineup consists of Dante Diavanzo leading things off. He's the shortstop. Sam Farrell, the center fielder, batting second. Jackson Hornung, the catcher, hitting third. Dom Cavanaugh, the first baseman, hitting cleanup. Tyler Dossis, the second baseman, batting fifth. Kevin Balowitz, the left fielder, hitting sixth. Lawrence Tang, the designated hitter, hitting seventh. Mason Dushney, the third baseman, hitting eighth. And Nick Calabrese, the right fielder, hitting ninth. As for the Medfield Diamond, it is Ryan Donahue getting the start this evening. Mike Giglio behind the plate. Jack McDonald at first base. Max Goodman at second base. Jack Goodman, the shortstop. Nick Sheehan, the third baseman. From left to right, Ben Leonard, Sam Palmer, and Ryan Murray. As Dante Diavanzo set to step in just a bit. Of course, they're going to give Ryan Donahue some extra warm-up reps as we had a good 15-20 minute delay waiting for the lights to come back on, but it is certainly good to see Dante Diavanzo back out there in an Ashland 7's uniform. He has been rostered all season, but of course he participates in AAU ball as well, so that has taken up the majority of his time, but he is back out there tonight and ready to go on the season. He is 1 for 4 overall and certainly provides some solid defense in the middle infield. And Coach Obid mentioned that he is certainly glad to have him in the lineup for some of these postseason games. As Dante Diavanzo stepping up to the plate now, the winner of this game, playing for a spot in tomorrow night's 8 p.m. game. Here in the Massachusetts Independent Baseball League Final Four. Tom Nappy on the call, Connor Donovan on camera, and we are ready for the bottom of the first. Donahue set to deliver. Lined up and the pitch. Little low. 1-0. Well, I guess the good thing about the light situation is it didn't happen too far into the game, so no one was really overly stretched out yet, so it's still kind of in their pregame routine. As this is hit in the air, foul territory, right side out of play, 1-1. Let's take a look at the dimensions here at Adams Field in Quincy. 346 to left, 363 to left center, and then over to right it is 340. I think it's pretty much 363 all around that center field fence. Donahue set to deliver. Line up and the pitch. There's a stride. 1-2. Good crowd on hand here from both sides. An all TVL 8 o'clock game tonight. As D'Avanzo gets a piece of this over to right center, that'll get in for a hit. A leadoff single for the shortstop, and that'll bring up Sam Farrell. Nice way to start the evening off at the plate. Sam Farrell has had a good season for the 7's. Donahue set to deliver. That low. And how about these numbers? A 341 batting average, 567 on base percentage, a 545 slugging percentage by the speedy Sam Farrell. He has scored 25 runs on the season, checking at first, runner back safe. And he has driven in 8. Donahue set to deliver. Swing and a miss. 0-1. It was actually Donahue who got the start against Ashland during the season. And he had a pretty good performance, 6 1/3, giving up 7 hits, 7 runs, 4 of which were earned, and struck out 8 in the Ashland 7-5 victory. Line up and the pitch. Down low. 2-1. Sam Farrell has shown some good discipline at the plate this season. Leg lift and the pitch up high. Runner on first, no outs for the 7's. Checking at first, runner back safe. Donahue likes to keep the runners at bay, and he will throw over a number of times. I'm sure, as many teams know by now, the 7's team likes to steal as Farrell draws the walk. 2 on, no outs. D'Avanzo up to second, Farrell to first, Jackson Hornung to the plate. Dangerous hitter stepping in. .413 on the season, .531 on base percentage, and a .870 slugging percentage. There's a strike. 0-1. Hornung scored one of the runs last night in the win over Quincy. A little high there. 1-1. Donahue set to deliver. And Hornung makes contact up the middle, glove by the shortstop, flip to second for 1, and that is all they'll get. I'd say that was a good move there by the second baseman. He held on to it because he knew if he threw over to first, D'Avanzo was going to try to score. So it'll be runners on the corners, 1 out. Dom Cavanaugh stepping to the plate. Line up and the pitch. Dom Cavanaugh had an incredible evening to start off this Final Four tournament. He pitched a great game and drove in a couple of runs in that 3-run 5th inning against Quincy. Outside, 1-1. Overall, he went 2 for 3 at the plate, scored a run and drove in 2. The righty steps back in. Wind up and the pitch. Swing and a miss. 1-2. 417 batting average on the season for Cavanaugh. 500 on base percentage. 604 slugging. He has driven in 24 and scored 13 runs. Wind up and the pitch. Swing and a miss. And there's out number 2. That'll bring up Tyler Dossis, who drove in Cavanaugh last night during that 3-run inning. Has an opportunity to drive in some runs here with runners on first and third, but there is 2 outs. And Hornung is going to take off, and he is caught in a pickle. Is the runner from third going to try to score? No. And the second baseman, a smart move there by Max Goodman. Instead of throwing back to first, he hung on to it and just chased Hornung back to the bag, and he kept turning towards third to see if he had a throw, so good awareness there by Medfield. Dossis a .333 batting average on the season. Swing and a miss there. 0-1. 600 on base percentage for Dossis. 667 slugging. 14 runs driven in, 15 scored. Checking at first, runner back safe. Perhaps Hornung a little shooken up. He felt kind of hard there getting back to the bag. Donahue set to deal. And Hornung taking off again. We'll see if Diavanzo tries to go. The flip to second. And now Hornung trips up and he's tagged out. And Hornung, I think, is arguing that he was tripped. And hold on, we might not be through here. They're going to give Hornung second base as he was tripped up by the second baseman. So Hornung awarded second base. Well, you can't run directly into the base runner and end up locking legs and trip him up. And Medfield coach doesn't like the call, as one would expect. So he's going to talk things out with the umpire. And now it looks like a quick discussion with his pitcher, and we are ready to continue. Runners on second and third, 2 outs for the 7's here in the bottom of the first. Donahue set to deal, leg lift and the pitch, and he gets a piece of this one over to right field, could be trouble. That'll drop in for a hit. 1 run is in to score, and here comes another. It's 2-0 7's. A 2 RBI single by Tyler Dossis, who just continues to be huge at the plate. Dante Diavanzo and Jackson Hornung score for the 7's. And that'll bring up Kevin Balowitz, the left fielder. Balowitz on the season, a .237 batting average, .318 on base percentage. That pitch outside. 1-0. Balowitz has driven in 13 runs and scored 15. Dossis with a slight lead off of first. Wind up and the pitch. Down low. 2-0 is the count. Lawrence Tang due up next. Shall Balowitz reach. Checking at first. Runner back safe. That's a good way to start this game off for the Sevens. Get all the momentum in your favor right off the bat. And Jackson Hornung just pumped as he's putting on the catcher's gear. Wind up and the pitch. Swing and a miss. 2-1. Donahue set to deal the 2-1. And there's a called strike. 2-2. That hit by Dossis landed right near the line, just staying fair. Perfect position to score both runs. Swing and a miss, and that'll retire the side in the bottom of the first. But the Ashland Sevens played a pair, and they lead it 2-0 as we head to the top of the second on HCAM, WACA TV, and HCAP.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
You know, they gave up on, you know, trying to get one of the runners.
Yep.
We advanced the second, and then we scored two runs.
We tried it a couple times.
Yeah. And they gave up. Yeah, they gave up on it and allowed our guy to go to second.
Right.
And then we got a base hit and we scored two runs. That was yesterday. That was a big difference.
Yeah. Here we go, boys.
That's what we should call it. Whenever the lights go up, we're going to have lights out sports stuff. Whenever you're ready. Top of the second inning, due up for Medfield, 5, 6, and 7. Sam Palmer, Jack McBride on the mound. Sam Palmer to step in. Tyler Dossis with the hit to drive in a pair for the Sevens. Lined up and the pitch. And this is hit up the middle. That'll trickle into left field. A leadoff single for Palmer. That'll bring up the first baseman, Jack McDonald. Radcliffe working from the stretch with a runner on first, and he steps off. Takes a look at first and is now set to deal. There's a strike. 0-1. Wind up and the pitch. Down low. A 1-1 count. Radcliffe looks at first and is set to deal. And this is up the middle, and it's going to be bobbled by the second baseman, and he'll have no play on it. Well, difficult ball to make a play on. Took an awkward hop towards Dossis, and he just couldn't handle it. So McDonald reaches on the infield single. Palmer up to second. That'll bring up Jack Goodman, the shortstop. I'd say with the bounce, that wasn't really a routine play, so I'll give him the hit on that one. Radcliffe deals. That's fouled into the backstop. 2 on, no outs for Medfield. Radcliffe from the stretch. Looks at second and delivers. There's a strike. 0-2. Radcliffe set to deliver. And this is going to be right back to Radcliffe, and he deflected it and has no play. It looks like it might have maybe hit the dirt in front of the mound. Took a really awkward hop. So a pair of awkward hits, and the bases are loaded for Medfield. And I'll bring up Ryan Murray, the right fielder. Big opportunity here to get right back into the game. And I'm not quite sure what Coach Obid is talking to the ump about. Maybe just questioning what Radcliffe was saying. And we will play on. From the stretch. Fouled away. 0-1. This game certainly a momentum setter with this tournament format. You really want to try to avoid having to play the 5 o'clock and perhaps the 8 o'clock game tomorrow night. There's a strike. 0-2. Radcliffe set to deliver. And the ump didn't like it. 1-2. Wind up and the pitch. And it gets away from the catcher, and the runner from third is going to come and score. Hornung just could not find the ball. I don't know. To me, it looked like the hitter might have went around. And Hornung seems to be shooken up. It looked like as he was trying to get to the ball, he got a little tripped up. Certainly hope he's okay. Palmer came around to score, but right now all the concern on Jackson Hornung. The ball got away, and he went to chase it and then just seemed to trip up on something. Not sure if it was a piece of equipment or just the dirt. And he seems to have shooken it off. We'll see if he stays in the game. It appears he will. Well, you know, it would certainly take a lot to get Jackson Hornung out of a ball game. Count is 2-2. It is a 2-1 game. McDonald did move up to third, Goodman to second. Down low, full count. Radcliffe set to deliver. It's a walk, apparently. The ump didn't like it. I disagree with that call. That looked good to me. Like Giglio will step in. I don't see what was wrong with that pitch. And Coach Obid wants to talk things over. Coach Obid and Horning out there, and the good news is Horning appeared to be walking okay after getting shooken up, tracking down a wild pitch. And some words of wisdom from the second-year head coach. Bases loaded, no outs for Medfield. A run already in. It's a 2-1 Ashland lead. But Medfield continuing to threaten. Radcliffe deals. There's a strike. Line up and the pitch. And the umpire says hi. Well, one thing we have determined is this umpire has a very low strike zone. 1-1. And this is hit in the air over to center field. It is caught. Runner from third going to try to tag. The throw in is cut off. And the throw to the plate not in time. And it'll be a 2-2 game. So sacrifice RBI flyout by Giglio allows McDonald to score. Goodman up to third and Murray up to second. One out in the inning. A pair in scoring position. Nick Sheehan to the plate. Well, it's a brand new ball game here in the top of the second. Line up and the pitch. There's a strike. Well, knowing that there's that low strike zone, the key to success today is going to be keep your pitches low. Here's the 0-1. Here's strike two. Nick Sheehan struck out in the first inning. And he'll get a piece of this one, left side, and a throw to first, they'll get the out. Good awareness by Dushny as he looked at the runner at third before throwing over to first. A 5-3 out, 2 away, Max Goodman to the plate. Set to deliver. And this is hit high in the air, right side over to right field, and caught for the out, but Medfield ties things up at 2 apiece as we head to the bottom of the second on HCAM, WACA TV, and HCAT. Bottom of the second inning, 7, 8, and 9 due up for the 7's. Lawrence Tang, Mason Dushney, and Nick Calabrese. We are knotted up at 2 apiece. The 7's played it a pair in the bottom of the first, but Medfield retaliated in the top half of the second. And now we'll see if Lawrence Tang can get things started on the right path. A .273 batting average on the season, .368 on base percentage. He has scored 5 runs and driven in 7. Swing and a miss there. Wind up and the pitch. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Donahue set to deal. Swing and a miss. A 3-pitch strikeout. That'll bring up Mason Dushney, the third baseman. Dushney on the season, a .302 batting average, .367 on base percentage. He has driven in 10 runs and scored 9. Donahue set to deal. Swing and a miss. Well, perhaps Ryan Donahue starting to find his stride out there for Medfield. Set to deal. Swing and a miss. Late swing there, 0-2. Calabrese due up next. Leg lift and the pitch. Outside. 1-2. Donahue set to deal. Swing and a miss. 2 straight strikeouts. That'll bring up Nick Calabrese. Nick Calabrese on the season, .551 batting average, .590 on base percentage. He's been tremendous in that 9th spot. He's driven in 14 and scored 16. Line up and the pitch. Swing and a tip, 0-1. And there's strike 2. Donahue deals. There's strike 3. And Ryan Donahue strikes out the side, and we will head to the top of the third on HCAM, WACA TV, and HCAP.